right, ladies and gentlemen, this is the moment you've been waiting for. The final game between Crimson and Dark-Sided, with Crimson on blue and Dark-Sided on red. Maybe Crimson's mojo has been upset by being on blue instead of on red. Well, let's see if they can get things back. It is 1-1 going into this grand final match. And here to take you away once again, Skimmy, supported by analyst GL Phoenix. Take it away, Skimmy.
Here we go, guys. What a day. What a long one. Let's close it out with some fun on Brax's Holdout. We saw 2 games already today on stream, both completed in 10 minutes. Hopefully that's nothing for this one to go by. We want to see some fast fick action. Last game, not too many kills, all about the macro manipulation. And if it's anything to go by, GL Phoenix, I'm thinking one thing: Lava Wave.
Or we can get some of that action. This is one of the few maps where Ragnaros does have a little bit more priority, or even relevance, if you want to use that word. But yeah, we could very well see some of that spicy Lava Wave action. But as you were saying, Braxis is one of those maps that sometimes can get a little bit out of hand. So we'll have to see if we can get one of those... a bit of a closer match here, as we do have Darkside banning away the Genji, as we've come to expect from them.
Yeah, like I said, every single ban in Season 3 finals, as well as what we've seen on stream today, is always been Genji. They're not going to take it. You're not allowed to have it. Let's just forget about that hero even existing. And Gul'dan, once again, is the response. The thing that really confuses me is this is another great map for Chromie.
Yeah, it is another map where Chromie can get a lot of value. We do see her paired up in, or grouped up in those 4-1 splits, and can get a lot of value and just bully away the opposing team. So, as you said, it's another map where she can get a lot of value, and I'm just not really sure by this Gul'dan ban. Is it something? I'm not sure if it's something that that Crimson just aren't really wanting to deal with. They fear it on the other side. It's just something that we'll have to leave up to interpretation, but so far, it's kind of a bit of an iffy ban for me.
What I'm saying, this time you haven't banned Arthas. We know you like the Arthas. We'll ban it. We'll take it ourselves this time. We're going to pair it with the Ufa, almost in prediction, saying that if you guys are going to go for Chromie, we have the response already. But if I was a betting man, I'd be saying that Greyman is now a surefire for the side of Darkside, with Hacky looking to pick that one up, or even the likes of Demise.
Yeah, it's still very open. I guess that's one thing about going for one of those more niche bans with the Gul'dan. It does leave a lot of the more higher priority things still on the table. We have the Uther and also the Arthas, which were available and picked up by Crimson. So there's still going to be a few things to work with. We could even see the Morales yet again picked up for Moops. I mean, we saw it in the previous game. He was doing so well in keeping his allies alive in those really tense fights. And this is another map where Morales gets an incredible amount of value, so we could see him go towards that one.
Would not mind it whatsoever, but Darkside are definitely thinking they're running the numbers, crunching the stats. Wow, they just decided, we're going Chromie again. You guys just never learn. The Greymane had to be, but the Chromie still. Always that talking point.
Yeah, oh my god. If this is how this day is going to end with just 2 Darkside Chromie games... Well, I guess what else can you say about that?
Oh, we're Dark-Sided, and this is our one trick which secures victory in the reverse sweep. Lieutenant Morales is currently being hovered as the ban, wanting to remove one of those big sustaining elements, because definitely Ufa will lose that trade in the bot lane if they can't get in, get the kills, and get themselves out. They are thinking about it, however. What other sort of bans would spring to mind, do you reckon?
Well, looking at the side of Darkside so far, we don't have a front line. We do have a reasonable solo laner with the Malthael. It's essentially just front line, and there's too many options to really try and ban out. So the Morales ban, I think, is really, really good coming out from Crimson. We saw it in the previous game, and we've seen in the past moves very much favoring the Uther and also the Morales. So where does he go to after this, and will it be as effective as one of those 2 heroes?
All eyes on where they go with this one. They ban away the Oriole again, actually removing a hero that provides so much sustain. Yes, it is easily counterable by the Chromie, but they just don't want to even have to consider it. They want to force them onto a support that they're less comfortable, otherwise, they can start to run rampant with this one. 2 picks for the side of Crimson to complement what they already have with the Arthas and the Uther. You'd imagine they'd be looking for a DPS there, and I can't imagine they'll be making the same mistake again with the Stitches. You'd like to think they go for that double tank, go for somebody that can dive in, and look to really punish that Chromie like they've done before.
Yeah, I mean, there's also the option, like, the Tassadar Valor is available, but we saw in the previous game they had that, but they just get outranged and outpoked by the amount of, amount of range and damage coming out of the Chromie, so even though it's available for Crimson, I'm not sure if they want to go with that again, considering how that last game went.
Running this one down to the clock, 10 seconds left. Crimson Esports looking to establish some pressure. They are going to go for the Sonya up against the Malthael. That is going to hurt. They're going to need some pressure to help establish that one, and they go for the Kelfast as well. So they got the backline mage. They got the ability then CC with the Arthas combined with the Uther. The CC chain is there. Is this going to be enough?
It's very interesting to see how they're going to be able to round out this draft. They do have like a decent amount of burst with the Kelfast, but we'll have to see if they can actually follow that up with anything. I mean, the Sonya can do a reasonable amount of damage and just sustain throughout a lot of these fights, but if we do manage to get into some extended fights, the Kelfast damage can kind of fall off, so that could be a bit of an issue. But if it is going to be just essentially around pick and burst engagements on either side, the Kelfast is going to be in a pretty good position. And especially looking at that lineup from Darkside, it's a rather squishy few heroes that we have there so far. And we still have a support to pick and also just a front liner. So It is going to be the Muradin. So a reasonable front line to pick up who can punish out of position heroes, and the Malfurion as well.
Yeah, they do go for the Muradin to dive on in with the Malthael as well as the Greymane, and they go for the Malfurion too. So Twilight Dream once again going to find some great value when the likes of Arthas jump in, prevent them from being able to establish the control. I suppose really it all comes down to this final pick really for the boys of Crimson Gaming. As Christ has been touched upon, they are in blue, not true to their name. Is that going to be the negative synergy, the negative karma, if you will, that sways this series against them? Final pick, what we're looking at, you'd imagine it's another DPS. You'd imagine it's another ranged assassin. Anything that springs to mind?
I mean, realistically, you want more damage out of this lineup. You've already got 2 frontliners in the Arthas and the Sonya. The Kelfast is good amount of damage, but you need a little bit more. Something that can scale quite well and also be mobile enough that you're not going to get punished by the damage or the long-range damage coming out of the Chromie. So maybe something like Lunara or even just like a Li Ming. It's actually going to be the Tigers, which is also a good option and will shred that front line of Darksided, which could make it very rough for them trying to get into these fights.
Just going to say they've played Tigers already. That has seemed to be their flip coin as to where they want to go. The only other option I was thinking of is potentially the Falstad. We've seen Falstad work pretty reliably when you can dive on in, fly on top of Chromie and just take her out straight away, but also for the ability then to rotate up to the top lane to help out that 1v1 between the Malthael and Sonya, because Sonya is going to have a very rough time, so keep your eyes on that.
Yeah, that 1v1 is always, or a lot of the 1v1s where Malthael is going to eventually go in his favor. He has the sustain, he has the damage, and it's really hard for a lot of heroes in just in the game in general have trouble dealing with it. So yeah, Darkseid will more than likely control that top side of the map. It's just a matter of how this 4v4 ends up lining up against each other.
There we go, loading into this one. Look at all the Chromie portraits, except for Moop's team captain deciding to go for the Shadow Panda Lily. Wants to be the odd one out, has to show his own artistic flair, has to give the blessing away from the Chromie. Hacky looking to repeat the success from game number 1, but let's introduce them once again. Grand final, the final game of today. One team goes away a winner, the other team goes away with second place, which never feels too nice. But let's introduce this team on the left-hand side. It is Team Crimson Esports. Old Tivian on Tychus, Leica on Arthas, Azure playing Kelfast, Uther played by Moondruid, and Sonya played by Jesmes.
And on the red side, we have Darksided. A strong game 1, and they're looking to carry that through with the Chromie again. As the Chromie, as per usual, being played by Hacky, it is Vikarak on the Malthael. Moops is on the Malfurion. Demise is on Greymane, and Sarshan is on the Muradin.
Sashin has opted for the third wind, which seems to be a bit of a transition in the ANZ scene, at least, with members opting for less damage, more survivability. And Muradin, like you said, had fallen out of the meta for a fair degree of time. He's going to come back in, especially with the regen changes, and the health ball will help him out slightly. Makes him that almost bait tank. Take a whole bunch of damage, run away, and join back in.
Absolutely, and even though he has been kind of on the fringes of the meta, we have seen him pop in from time to time. Some players, like you think of the players like Noblesse, who have always shown a proficiency on the hero, they still stuck with him. And these few little adjustments are going to help out with that, as we do get a nice level 1 engage coming out for Crimson. Oh, but return fire!
Yeah, they try and collapse on towards Ultima, and they might actually then switch their attention onto Session. So already pot shots, warning shots in the bot lane. I was looking in the top lane, and Jesman has already dropped down to half. Vikrak, for the first 20 seconds at least of that laning phase, was just running around auto-attacking Jesman. Doesn't care about the XP, doesn't care about the minions. He just wants to do damage.
Oh, the Muradin getting caught mid-jump, and he will be the first one to fall in this game, but the damage is being returned, but moves is so low, they just turn around and finish him off.
So disgusting. They find their kill, and once again, I mean, that's the pressure of allowing Chromie to go through the draft. The overkill was putting in work, but it wasn't enough to get the return fire.
It is going to end up being a 2-for-1 in favor of Crimson. So nice little position, and they had the space to just push in on Hacky, who can't really hold that lane by himself, as the members of Darksided either coming back from respawn or just having to half back to get a little bit more health and mana. But now that both teams are back into the lane, we do have the beacons activating, and we actually have the Tigers moving up topside to just force away Vikrak from that beacon.
That's what I was talking about during the draft. They need to help Sonya out because she will lose that lane. She
has my god.
Level 1, but the attention in the bot lane, once again, they find the route, they have the one shot, they take it out, and Kelfas, no mana barrier just yet, is an easy pick.
Oh, and they do get a nice little pick onto Ultima, taking a lot of damage. They're not able to finish him off, though. The healing is a little bit too much, but he does fall in the end.
Session just juking. The death coil comes across, but it's just not enough. The damage from the tanks, it's so frustrating. They try and collapse in the top lane. They can't do it. They try and go through the bot lane. Darksided seizing the moment, finding the opportunity, really pouncing upon it. And Jesmis once again says, team, help.
Yeah, and just looking at this combo, it's a very old school combo coming out from Darksided. The Malfurion and the Muradin, just the lockdown combo that those two have just in their basic abilities is just way too obnoxious to deal with. And with all that damage coming out of Hacky, and all you need to do is just line it up when you have that much control. It's kind of what we saw in the last game with the Zul, where you set up all the control and just let Hacky just fire away.
100% Zerg wave to 0. I'm having flashbacks of the games earlier here on Braxis Holder, and much the same as Tim the Spider Queen. This gives them a lot of pressure, a lot of pushing power, and a lot of ability to reach those all-important levels much quicker than their opponents. And with these routes, as you're talking about, they've collapsed upon it. Session is putting in a really good amount of work right now. He goes in, takes up so much damage, runs away, and he's already consuming a lot of resources.
So much work as he does go in again, and so much damage going down onto the Arthur. Just does not have the sustainability there to stay alive, and that is going to be another kill. This should be this fort for sure.
Yeah, fort's gone. No chance of that one surviving whatsoever. Still a healthy Zerg wave pushing through the bot lane, looking now to do some work on this keep wall. Try and expose that one, try and open up that win condition, try and keep up that laning pressure, and the siege continues.
Yeah, they've still got a decent amount of the Hydralisk. The Guardians in the back are still going to be able to wail away on these towers, and there should be a decent amount, should at least take one of these towers, but the Darksided are starting to realize that, okay, we just need to be careful, don't overextend. They do have level 7 advantage, but they've already done more than enough damage to be happy with it.
Already 9 stacks out of the 20 required for that arcane barrier by Azure. He's going to rotate through to the top lane, gives Sonya some time to reset. And Session is just playing guard. He's in the bush, he's keeping up the vision, he's keeping his team nice and secure as they have gone for the camp. The best camp in this map. They want to establish this bot lane pressure, they want to start playing the game.
Session just dancing in that bush. He's dodged like 3 skill shots already.
He's playing what tanks are meant to do. And he's got the vision, he's baiting out the cooldowns, and that's when that sort of mental warfare starts to come into play.
Oh, here we go. We're getting some of that Chinese bush meta that we so love. They are just going to try and go for this invade, but the members of Crimson are here to try and contest it, but they're just not there in time.
Leica walks onto it, he wants it.
Ooh.
Wow. They decide not to actually try and one-shot the Arthas. Muradin does pay the price in the end. Bit of split shot calling you had to say there from Darksided. They do manage to take their own camp, which was initiated by Darksided, but now they can look for the collapse onto Vikrak, which isn't showing any signs of backing away. He's got to run now. He does have the sprint active. He's looking to use the racetrack to get away. Stun comes across, Hunting Blast connects, and that is a surefire kill. Much the same as Spider Queen, looking to try and expose that solo lane.
Absolutely, and even though we talked about the lockdown combo of the Malfurion and the Muradin, likewise on the side of Crimson, they have the Howling Blast and the hammer coming out of the Uther that they can lock down someone just as much. So if you get caught out and you're out of position, you're not going to last too long in these fights.
Jesmiz is not going to be rotating up to this one. He's wanting to keep this XP at an even full, which is what it is at right now. Does go for the clear. Beacons will spawn in the next 10 seconds. This works well for them. Malfio has already rotated through to the bot lane, so keep it up is the motto right now for the side of Crimson Gaming. Let's not fall too far behind. Let's not be tilted by this Chromie, which has given us so many issues during this series as they now establish top lane.
Yeah, and now that Haki does have those shifting sands, this could be a very awkward position to move in, but he doesn't have it set up, and this is here it goes, as they are starting to try and walk in.
They are trying to find a target in Demise, but he does just manage to walk on out. Has the regrowth active on him, has the well tap on top of that as well. Altivian playing darts, but doesn't dart well enough. Gets dropped to half, and Jesmiz has come up for the rotation. It is going to force Malfield to come as well. He's deciding, do I go up? Do I go for the clear? They are winning the race to level 10, and that seems to be the call.
Yeah, with the 5 members up on the top lane, this is allowing Vikrak to really just extend this experience lead, and they are going to be getting level 10 and their heroics just a little bit before, about half a level before Crimson, and that could very well just be the trigger to really just pretty much turn on the afterburners for Darksided.
You can see Vikrak is just riding on his mount, almost having conflicted messages, like saying, do I come? Do I go away? I can't really push. The wave is too far away from me. The rotation, the 4-man rotation that does finally come out from Crimson Gaming. And now seems to be that, well, as a result of that, your indecisiveness will kill you. We hit 10 first. Darksided look for the siege, and they look to take down this top lane fort as well.
Yeah, really nicely done from Darkseid, realizing that the rotation came down to the bomb side of the map to capture that beacon, and they are also going to be using this level 10 spike to their advantage, and level 10 has been picked up for Crimson, but they're just a little bit behind every step of the way, and with the Malthael picking up that beacon on the bottom side, they do get some progress on the beacon, but with 5 coming down, his Altivian just gets demolished!
Curse Bullet, Twilight Dream, gone, deleted, and absolutely shredded. But talk about it, Greymane, the one doing the deleting, finds himself on the receiving end as well. Azure at the final stretch, clipping that Sandblast, manages to survive, might even juke out the Dragon's Breath, which he does. And this 5v4 really working in favor right now. It's a 1-for-1, but Malfio is in the fight. Tormented Souls in the backline, Divine Shield instantly pressed. Muradin is gone. This is the best chance that Crimson Gaming have had all game long. They're looking for it, but the one shot on the slowing sands, dictating it. Once again, Chromie just single-handedly doing work.
He still lives. The Vikrak on the Malthael is able to survive through all of that. And as you mentioned, Haki on his Chromie, he gets another kill as he takes down the back end of that fight. And he is so very much carrying these fights.
It's just disgusting. And once again, a huge Zerg wave in their favor. Bot lane exposed, looking to finish what they started in the top lane as well. The level difference isn't really too huge. It is slowly starting to creep up with these opportunities that have been achieved and made advantage of, but I say it's only a half-level lead. That's no big talent tier disadvantage.
Yeah, it's not much to speak of, but if we look at the structures on both sides, Darkseid have taken both forts, and they're going to be starting to push onto this keep. They have that massive wave. Demise has actually gone a little bit too far. That little bit of an unfortunate interaction. He goes flying into the base, and
the dark flight, almost clipping and doing things that he did not expect. He's thinking, I'm not sure why I'm here. Much the same as when Rhaegar jumps on Infernal Shrines through those gates. He did not expect that to happen, and you'd almost say, was that a bug?
It was a bit of an unfortunate interaction, but that is going to completely stall out any kind of push coming out from Darksided. They are going to be forced back, and this is going to allow Crimson just a little bit of space to get back in. They are going to be able to pick up their camps. Not if Darkside have anything to say about it.
Crimson are thinking, cool, we've got the upper advantage, but little do they know, Darkside are ready and waiting in the bush. They don't go for the jump in. They're not going to commit for the fight. Chromie was ready there to set up if she so desired, but it looks to be they want to back away. 13 is literally on the cusp of being hit right now. They're still sticking around. Session is going for it.
Nice cleanse.
Have the cleanse though.
Nice cleanse. If he was locked down, the rest of the follow-up was going to be there. The rest, all of the Darkside members were there. They had the tools to completely wipe that Sonya off the map. So a nice cleanse there to deny that potential. And it's just a matter of Crimson just have to be a little bit careful with how they're playing or how they're going with these rotations. They do have that camp pushing on the top side, so it is going to force a reaction out of Darksider, but looks like they're just not even going to worry about it. They're going to go in.
Micah literally running it down mid. He face checks the boss, and Darksider say, we knew you were going to do that, and now we can take the boss.
Just a little bit unfortunate as the vision is being key here for Darksider. And also just zone control, that shifting sands is just so obnoxious to deal with. The Odin is going to be coming out, but the members of Darkside are in a pretty defensible position. Oh, but the boss is doing so much damage!
Wow. The boss is literally starting to throw!
Oh my god!
They're actually going to do this! No 13, no tank! And they somehow, some way, get a triple kill, steal away the boss, and they're straight back into this one, Geo Phoenix.
That has completely swung the favor of this game. Darksided just overstepping their boundaries. That camp on the top side was still pushing, and now this camp on the bot side is going to do so much damage, and not just equalize for Crimson. They are going to take a rather large experience lead, and they're going to have positional advantage coming into this next beacon phase. Darksided just overstepping their boundaries a little bit too much.
I think, they didn't expect that much damage to come across. They thought they could have shredded it down that much quicker with the Greyman and the Malfio, and rightfully so. I thought that was the right call to make, but rightfully not. And testament to Crimson Gaming, they went for the fight despite the odds being against them. Pays off.
Yeah, you got to say that Moves' positioning at the start of that, he got completely demolished by that boss and was pretty much a non-factor throughout all of it, as was Vekarak just deleted at the start of that fight. So now we do have that boss cleaned up, but there's still that wave pushing on the top side. There's going to be a 100% Zerg wave pushing on that lane as well, and it's going to need a considerable team effort coming out of Darkside to just repel this push from Crimson.
This is really good. Crimson Gaming could be able to actually do this one. They've already broken down the keep. That Zerg wave, as strong as it might be, escorted with the Bruiser and the Minion wave, is going to definitely take down this keep. And with that in mind, I mean, if they get a kill, this is looking like a core.
Oh my god, they do a lot of damage to
him.
He goes down. This could be it.
This could be it. 16 is nearly there. It's going to be picked up as a result of that keep dropping on down. If anybody else drops from Darkside, this is game, set, and match. This is the finals being won. The Grave Lamps is there. The CC chain begins. They're on towards the core. Malfield doing the invincible. He's going for the 1v5. He's got the Tormented Souls popping, the healing, the sustain, the dot damage. But even he's not enough of a force to deal with. He does fall in the end. They're going to do it. Crimson Gaming are on the core. It's falling. It's down to 40%. And Chromie can only do so much. It doesn't matter though. Crimson Gaming on the day, they win and they go 2-1.
Oh my god. Crimson Esports, they turned that around against all odds, against the dark side of Chromie. They managed to do it. They managed to take the game. They take the series. And it's just, that's going to be one that Darkside are going to have to look back on and really kick themselves, because they had control of that the entire game. It was a 14-minute game, and I'd say about 12 minutes of those games was just Darkside completely controlling it. But the last couple of minutes, they really just fell apart.
I was going to say, it's a surefire MVP for Hacky. I mean, look at what he's done in games 1 and 2. Hacky, once again, I mean, look at the scoreboard. You see the damage that have come across from the likes of Crimson Gaming, and you might be thinking, how did they possibly lose when the damage is so stacked against them? But it's all about the damage that counts, the damage that matters and gets the kills. And in the end, the CC chains were there. We talked about it during the draft. That was the setup potential. They get that one opportunity, that boss throw, the swing of momentum suddenly in their favor. And now, Crimson Gaming, as their first tournament as a team, as an organization, the boot camp really paying off for them.
Oh, absolutely. They were a bit of an unknown coming into today, but they've really shown up as a considerable threat, and we're really looking forward to seeing them play come season 4 now.
So, Gio, thanks for the last time today. MVP nominations for this series. Who did you have your money on?
Jeez, I mean, it's a bit of a rough one with this series because both of those games, it was completely dominated by Hacky on the Chromie. I mean, can we give the MVP to the losing team? I mean,
I would almost agree with you as well.
He controlled the entire game, both games, and games 1 and 2. There was nothing that could be done about that Chromie. It was just an unfortunate series of events which ended up with Darksided losing that game and the series. But I feel as though Hacky really did enough to deserve MVP.
100%. I'm going to agree with you as well there. So, Hacky, congratulations. Your one-trick hero on the day is enough, but it's not enough to secure the victory, unfortunately. But you do walk away head held high with the MVP nomination. But that does it for us today, guys. Thank you so much for joining us for this pre-Season 4 one-day competition. Get a wee glimpse into what the ANZ Heroes of the Storm scene is like. Do come back. Give us a follow on the channel, as we will have Season 4 live and underway for the 9th of August.
Hang on. We've got a couple of things that we still need to do, guys, before we go away, because we got 2 MVPs to give away. So we have 5 MVPs to pick from. And we only have 2 bundles, 2 loot chest bundles to give away to them. Congratulations, of course, to the boys on Crimson Esports. They're going to each get a loot chest code that'll give them 12 loot chests. And we also need to do the draw for the raffle. So let's very quickly do the draw for the raffle first. And Hostone is the winner.
Well done to him. Or her, or...
All right, now I am just going to need to pick a winner from a list. So I'm just going to go here, and I'm going to give me a second while I put in Ivy and Moondrude. And Moondrude again, because he won 2
yeah, he was really pulling his weight as support.
Physics and Hacky are our 5 nominations. So just going to very quickly get the first pick. And Moondrude, he had a 50% chance. Well, he had double the chance of winning. So he's going to pick up one of those. And we'll just pick up the second one. And it's going to be Hacky. So congratulations to Moondrude and Hacky picking up those 2 Suns Out, Guns Out loot chest codes. And once again, to our grand final winners, Crimson Esports. Now, don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, 9th of August, that's when Season 4 starts. We'll be back right here on GameStar TV1 with the Blizzard ANZ Season 4 qualifiers. It's going to be a cracker. It's the last season of the year. Another $20,000 on the line. You've got to get your team together. You've got to have a crack at it. And, of course, everybody that participates is also going to be given rewards as well, both in first and second division. So it's open to all of you. Come on, have some fun with Heroes of the Storm, and be with us through Season 4, starting the 9th of August. Well, from the crew here at GameStar TV, thank you for joining us all day long. A nice long day. A shout out to our casters, Skimmy, Vandy, and GL Phoenix, who have done an excellent job today. Thank you to Grumshot, who was pulling the admin duties, and to you, all of our viewers. Fantastic to have you with us here all day long. It's been a great time. This is Crisis and the team signing out.